Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video I am going to be going through with you how Manchester United could line up next season with Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish and Paul Pogba in the team. So now let's get straight into it. So David De Gea in goal, obviously. David De Gea is our number one goalkeeper. He has been our number one goalkeeper for several years. And of course, he will remain our number one goalkeeper for the remainder of this season. And I think he'll also be our number one goalkeeper next season. Now, of course, we've got Dean Henderson, who's out on loan with Sheffield United at the moment. This has been his second season on loan with Sheffield United, and he's going to stay at Sheffield United for the remainder of this season. I've got to make an admission regarding Dean Henderson. He has been Sheffield United's player of the season, and he has been a revelation for them. Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells. He had a loan spell at Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him as a 14-year-old. Dean Henderson has still got a contract with us until 2022. The other week, Solskjaer was talking about Dean Henderson. He said, Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become Manchester United's number one goalkeeper, but he did say he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number one goalkeeper and Manchester United's number one goalkeeper in the future and all of that. So I think for next season, David De Gea is going to remain our number one goalkeeper. This has now been David De Gea's 9th season at Manchester United. He is approaching his 10th year at the football club, so De Gea has been a long servant for Man United. I think, like I've said before, David De Gea has had a good 7 years out of the 9 years he's been here. He has been a liability in the last couple of years, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. David De Gea was at fault for Junior Stanislas's first goal yesterday. Also, to Harry Maguire was accountable. But, David De Gea is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is saying, reflecting on what he's achieved at the football club. He's won everything he domestically. He's won individual awards. He's nearly made 400 appearances for us now in all competitions. And we did get David De Gea under the Alex Ferguson era. We paid £17 million for him from Atletico Madrid. And I did say when David De Gea eventually leaves Manchester United, I think he will make a return back to Spain. Don't forget he was close to joining Real Madrid back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, his move to Real Madrid never materialised. David De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he's the highest paid at the club because he is on 375 grand a week. Last September he had signed a 4-year deal at the club. So, of course, next season he will remain our number one goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka at right back, obviously, he'll remain our first choice right back next season. I think Wan-Bissaka's enjoyed an exceptional first season for Manchester United. His defensive contributions been very, very good. He's showed some good attacking intent recently. I think he's got in good crossing positions, so a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. We got Wan-Bissaka last summer from Crystal Palace for, was it around £45 million? But what a player he is, and I think he's definitely regarded as one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. So he will be our right-back next season. Also, too, Victor Lindelof. I still think he'll be one of our first choice centre-halves next season. This has been now Victor Lindelof's 3rd season at Manchester United. We did get him from Benfica back in 2017 for £30 million. We got Victor Lindelof. Like I said, he struggled for that consistency in his first season, but last season and this season, a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. He's not a world-class centre-half, is Victor Lindelof, but I still think he's done very, very well alongside Harry Maguire for the vast majority of the season. I don't think he was too good against Bournemouth yesterday. Obviously, had to come off with injury. Bay actually, replaced him. Yeah, but Lindelof will be I still think he'll be our first choice centre-half next season. There's some United fans now saying that Victor Lindelof does need to be dropped, and some United fans would prefer Eric Bay ahead of Victor Lindelof. But My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. But prior to that, he is a very, very good centre-half. This has been now Bailly's 4th season at Manchester United. We paid £30 million for him from Villarreal. And he was actually our first signing under the Jose Mourinho way. And there has been stories saying that, we could consider loaning Eric Bailly out for next season. Harry Maguire, of course, he will remain our first choice centre-half next season. I think Harry Maguire's enjoyed a very, very good first season for Man United. I think we did make the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy. We're giving the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure, Harry Maguire. We got him from Leicester last summer for £80 million. So he's the second most expensive sign at the club, just behind Pogba. And at the moment, he is the most expensive centre-half in the world, is Harry Maguire. I thought he was off the pace yesterday against Bournemouth. He's had a few bad games as a Manchester United player, where he has looked very, very exposed and all of that. But I still think he's a very, very good centre-half. I think next season, Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left-back, definitely. Obviously, we've got Brandon Williams at left-back as well, but Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams, and definitely for the remainder of this season, Luke Shaw is going to remain our first choice left-back. Like I said, Luke Shaw missed the first part of the season with injury, and he has sustained quite a few injuries at Manchester United. That's my only element of concern about Luke Shaw, is that he's injury prone. This has now been Luke Shaw's 6th season at Manchester United. I think we got him from Southampton back in 2014 for around £30 million. I think we actually got him, was it under the Louis van Gaal era. But he still had a very, very good career with Man United. Then after Luke Shaw, I think, Paul Pogba, he will be he'll be in that deep central midfield position, because recently, Paul Pogba's been playing in that deep central midfield position, since the resumption of the season. And I've got to make an admission regarding Paul Pogba. Since the resumption of the season, he has made a fantastic impact. And I think definitely, the combination between him and Bruno Fernandes has been absolutely exceptional. I think the partnership between Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes is definitely, the best midfield partnership in the Premier League. So, yeah. So, Paul Pogba in the deeper central midfield position for next season. Then I think it will be, if we obviously, if we get, Grealish and Sancho, I think it will be then Fernandes and Grealish, in front of Paul Pogba. That's what I think, will happen. I think, Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Bruno Fernandes did score yesterday. He also provided 2 assists. And he also got 2 goals in the 3-0 win against Brighton. And definitely, Bruno Fernandes has made the difference in the team. I think Fernandes has got now 6 or 7 goals since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth £65 million with add-ons included. And I think Fernandes did sign, was it a 5-year deal or a 5.5-year deal? And in nearly every single Premier League match, Bruno Fernandes is being given man of the match, reflecting on his good run of performances. And back in February, Bruno Fernandes got Premier League Player of the Month. So, yeah. So, I think Grealish comes in. Grealish will be playing alongside Bruno Fernandes, but they will be just ahead of Paul Pogba. You know the news regarding Jack Grealish, don't you? He's one of our priority targets. Aston Villa have said that they want £80 million for Jack Grealish, and they do remain ruthless over their valuation. But surely, if Aston Villa get relegated, Jack Grealish shouldn't cost as much as £80 million. Maybe if Villa get relegated, Grealish could be available for around £40 or £50 million. Now, there were stories coming out not too long ago saying that Tim Sherwood, the former Aston Villa boss, he said that Jack Grealish to Manchester United is a done deal. There was also recent stories coming out saying that we are facing a transfer battle for Grealish, because Manchester City, are considering signing him. It also said the other week that Jack Grealish had bought a house next to our Carrington training base. So that says, reflects on that, Jack Grealish was close to coming to Manchester United. Don't forget he has committed 2 offences as Grealish. He said the other week that he'd been charged by police after a lockdown car accident. Don't forget back in March, he had that incident with his £80,000 Range Rover. Did Jack Grealish, his £80,000 Range Rover. I think he had crashed it into 3 parked cars at Jack Grealish. And I think he got charged around £150,000. That's what he had been fined. Now, up until this point, Jack Grealish has spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. I think he's been in their senior squad for a good 5 or 6 years now. He broke into Aston Villa's senior squad in 2014 and since then has become an integral part of their team. He joined Villa at just the age of 6 and Grealish has got a contract with Aston Villa till 2023. We've already confirmed that he is our preference over James Maddison, because there was reports, saying that, we was interested in James Maddison before. I think the main explanations why our preference is Jack Grealish, because cheaper solution, his stats throughout the course of this season have been better than Maddison's, and he is more versatile than James Maddison in that. So yeah, so that's how, that midfield will be, if Grealish is to come in. On the right wing, Jadon Sancho, of course. Jadon Sancho, of course, is our number 1 priority target. I give you the news regarding Jadon Sancho on my recent video. It says that Jadon Sancho is considering putting a transfer request in. If Borussia Dortmund refuse to let him join Manchester United. Now, as you all know, Jadon Sancho has reportedly agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and he has agreed a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £140,000 a week. But there's no fee that's yet come to an agreement. No fee has yet come to an agreement, and did say Borussia Dortmund's asking price is the stumbling block. So it's actually Ian McGarry, who's a transfer expert. He's actually said that Sancho's agreed personal terms and that with Man United. Also to Duncan Castles, who tends to be close to Man United. He also revealed this as well. Now, Dortmund have said several times that they do want at least £100 million for Sancho. We've said quite a lot of times as well, we are not willing to smash our transfer record. I heard recently Dortmund said they could demand up to £117 million for him. We said, we're only willing to pay £50 million, no more. Obviously, we're not going to get Jadon Sancho for £50 million. He said that Borussia Dortmund had set the deadline for Sancho recently, and he said that Sancho's got to decide on his future before the start of next season, because Dortmund did say next season they are not determined to sell him. I think the German transfer window opens in October. But I do believe now we are only the club that are in for him, because, like I said, Pep Guardiola at Man City has distanced himself away from Sancho. Also to Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, he's distanced himself away from Jadon Sancho. There was actually no stories coming out a few weeks ago saying that Sancho was willing to return to Manchester City because we were struggling to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Don't forget Sancho is a former Manchester City player. He's Jadon Sancho. He endured 2 years at Manchester City, but he never got assured any first team opportunities at Man City. So that's the main explanation why I left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. Of course, Dortmund only paid £8 million for him. So Dortmund got Jadon Sancho for next to nothing. But, analyse his performances in the few years he has been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. So Dortmund, looking to make a huge profit on the player. Sancho still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. You had the Borussia Dortmund CEO coming out not too long ago. I think he said last month that he expects Jadon Sancho to stay at Dortmund because he believes that no club are willing to meet their valuation. You had Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss. He came out the other I think it was last month, and he said that he expects he could still expect Jadon Sancho to leave Dortmund in the summer transfer window and all of that. But we've been in for him now for quite a few years. Jadon Sancho. I think it dramatically improves if we got him in. He's predominantly a right winger. He's well proven in the Premier League. Like I said, he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford, and this is the reason, why I take Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. So yeah, him on the right wing if he comes in next season. Marcus Rashford on the left wing. As you all know, this season when Rashford's been playing, he has been playing on that left-hand side. Rashford has now got 20 goals this season for the football club. He scored his first goal since the resumption of the season yesterday in the 5-2 win against Bournemouth. Like I said, Marcus Rashford was a big miss earlier on in the season. He was a big miss with Rashford because he was out with that back injury. But definitely Rashford is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Like I said, up until this point, he spent the entirety of his career with the football club. He has been a United player since the age of 7, and he has been in our senior squad since 2016. But since then, has become an integral part of our team as Rashford, yeah. And up front, Anthony Martial. I think we'll keep Anthony Martial in that central position because Martial has been playing in that central position this season. And to be honest with you, he seems very, very effective in that central position. Martial doesn't predominantly play centrally. He predominantly plays out wide. Does Martial, because in his 4 previous seasons he's played out wide. This has now been Martial's 5th season at Manchester United. Of course, one of the best seasons he enjoyed was under the Louis van Gaal era. I think we paid, was it around £36 million for Anthony Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. And we did get Anthony Martial as a 19-year-old, and he is now 24. So that's how I think we could line up next season with Sancho, Grealish and Pogba in the team and all of that. So there you go. But anyway, I do believe now that Manchester United are back. And, we are starting to get glimpses of the Alex Ferguson days. And like I said, I want us to be back to as we was under Alex Ferguson. Of course, Alex Ferguson endured 26 years at Manchester United. Won a total of 38 major honours. Also developed a lot of young players. But Ferguson endured 22 successful years out of the 26 years, because don't forget, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. So the vast majority of our success came under Alex Ferguson. But, we are now in a good vein of form. We are unbeaten in our last 16 games in all competitions. And I think we are unbeaten in our last 9 Premier League games. But this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But like I said to a lot of aspects of our game have really, really improved. We are now scoring more goals. We're creating more chances. Players have really, really improved, especially the top players. Football looks more expansive. Defensively, we do look better, but we weren't so good defensively yesterday. And that also, too, we have kept a lot of clean sheets in this unbeaten run. Our last defeat was at home to Burnley 2-0, and that was back in January and that. So I'm really, really pleased, the way, we have performed. Like I said, we beat Bournemouth 5-2 yesterday. That was the first time we'd scored 5 goals in the Premier League under Solskjaer since the 5-1 win against Cardiff. And that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game as Manchester United manager. And of course, it was against his former club. I think it was also the first time we'd scored more than 4 goals at Old Trafford in the Premier League since the 5-0 win against Wigan back in 2011 and that. But I do believe now we are heading in the right direction under Solskjaer. I still don't know if he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United. I don't know if he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United, but I am hopeful that we can get our 21st title under Solskjaer. At the moment, we have won 20 titles, 13 of them Premier League titles. So we are still the most successful team in England at the moment, and we are still regarded as one of the biggest clubs in the world, even though we have been inconsistent for the last 7 years. Now, Solskjaer recently challenged us to go unbeaten for the remainder of the season, and I think we can go unbeaten for the remainder of the season. You know, we've got now 5 games remaining in the Premier League, 5 games remaining. And I think in reality, we should win at least 4 of our 5 remaining games. You know, a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, have said, you know, we've got an easy running in the Premier League. But like I said to you, Solskjaer did say prior to the game against Bournemouth that, you know, we haven't got an easy running. He said, you know, we have got points to prove against the teams that we have struggled against, you know, this season. You know, Villa's our next game. You know, don't forget we drew with Aston Villa earlier on in the season 2-2. With, you know, Crystal Palace is upcoming as well. You know, we lost to them early on in the season 2-1. Southampton's coming up. We drew with them early on in the season 1-1. West Ham's coming up. We lost to them 2-0 early on in the season. So we have still got points to prove, you know, against the teams, you know, that we have struggled against. But I definitely think, you know, we can finish the season on a high. We've just got to keep winning games, because obviously, you know, we do want to finish in that top 4. You know, top 4 is a priority for us because we do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. You know, Solskjaer is recently targeting a 3rd place finish. But the reason we want qualification for the Champions League is to, you know, attract players to the elite level, and plus will generate money, you know, if we get Champions League qualification. But Solskjaer is recently talking about the importance of Champions League qualification. As it stands at the moment, we are 2 points behind Chelsea now, because Chelsea won yesterday by 3-0 against Watford. But like Solskjaer was saying, there's a good 6 or 7 teams still in the battle for 3rd and 4th. Like I said, the FA Cup and the Europa League are 2 priorities for us, because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. And, you know, we've lacked silverware in the last 7 years. You know, we haven't won many trophies since Ferguson retired back in 2013. You know, we only won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal era and the Europa League and the League Cup under the Jose Mourinho era. So we actually haven't won a trophy since 2017. We are into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. We've got Chelsea, and we're more or less into the last 8 of the Europa League, because we are 5-0 up against Lask from the first leg. So if we could win both of them, or at least one of them, it would be a memorable first full season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it would restart winning mentality. But I think now Solskjaer's got it right. You know, he's tactically got it right. You know, his decision making's also improved, so I'll give him that. I think now also too, Solskjaer knows his best 11. And the 4-2-3-1 formation, I think he's going to probably stick with that for the remainder of this season, because he's been going with that formation anyway on a regular basis this season. But yeah, you know, definitely, you know, I've seen a hell of a lot of improvements. You know, Solskjaer has been at the football club now for 18 months. 18 months, which is a year and a half. And I have taken positives from his tenure so far. Like I said, our recruitment policy's really improved since he came in. You know, Solskjaer so far has brought 5 good players into the football club and spent just over £200 million on them. Also, too, he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. You know, the young players have been given their chances this season. But there again, on the other hand, there's some players that have found game time very difficult. Our record against the Big Six sides this season's also been very good. We've taken 18 points against the Big Six sides this season. So I've definitely seen improvements under him. Also, too, Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. A hell of a lot of players have left. You know, the recent player to leave Manchester United was Angel Gomez. You know, he left Man United because we failed to agree terms over a new contract for him. Of course, we saw Ashley Young leave this year. You know, he went to Inter Milan after he endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. We saw Valencia leave last summer after he endured 10 years at the club. We saw Smalling go out on loan to Roma last summer, but now we're looking to get rid of Smalling on a permanent transfer. But he's going to remain with Roma for the remainder of the season because his loan got extended. Rojo got loaned out to Estudiantes in January. I presume that we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. Darmian, he left the football club last summer. He went to Parma. Ander Herrera, he left the football club last summer. After he enjoyed 5 years at Man United, he went to PSG on a free. Fellaini left the football club in January 2019. He was the first player to leave under the Solskjaer era. Lukaku left last summer. He went to Inter Milan. And Sanchez, of course, left last summer. He went to Inter Milan on loan. Sanchez, of course, is going to remain on loan with Inter Milan for the remainder of the season. And I think also too, recently we released 9 or 10 players. We released 9 or 10 players, 9 or 10 academy players, because their contracts had expired and that. But yeah, Solskjaer's definitely going to get rid of more of the deadwood in the summer transfer window because he's still deadwood at the football club. And I've already gone through with you, I think the players that are going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. But, we don't only need to focus... We don't only need to focus on the outgoings, we also need to focus on the incomings as well. Solskjaer recently confirmed Solskjaer recently confirmed our summer transfer expectations. And he said, we need to make around 1 or 2 good decisions if we are to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. I'm actually not sure how much we're gonna have to spend in the summer transfer window. Because the other week Solskjaer did say, with the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic, he doesn't know how much we are gonna get. He doesn't know how much he's gonna get to spend. Now, obviously, the other month, Ed Woodward did say that we will remain competitive in the summer transfer market, but he did say we won't do business as usual. So he basically, ruled out big transfers to Man United, and I think Solskjaer has said that he doesn't expect many big transfers. Our net debt is just over 429 million because our debt the other month had risen up by almost 130 million pounds, and the coronavirus pandemic had cost the club around 28 million pounds. But it's going to be interesting to see how he approaches the summer transfer window. I probably expect us to make 1 or 2 signings. I don't think we're going to make 4 signings in the summer transfer window. And Solskjaer's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. He said recently that Solskjaer had changed his objectives because he recently had a talk with Ed Woodward. He's had a few meetings and that, with Ed Woodward regarding the transfers and all that. But he did actually say at the start of this season that we are not capable of challenging Manchester City or Liverpool and that. Earlier on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, he worked out his transfer strategy and he said, he wants to recruit young British talents to Manchester United because 3 of the 5 players that he has brought in so far are British. Are British and all of that. But we've got to, get the right caliber players in the summer transfer window. We have got a good squad at the moment. I won't take anything away from that, but it's definitely a top 4 squad, our squad now. But to become title challengers, we need to get a few more players in there. We really, really do. But definitely Solskjaer will be at Manchester United next season. Even if we don't get qualification for the Champions League, I still think he'll be with us because he does deserve at least another season because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. Earlier on in the season, we had enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And at that point, Solskjaer was close to getting sacked and there was talks of, Pochettino coming in. There was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in. But I've already gone through with you, what has said Solskjaer's job at Manchester United. Of course, his unbeaten run has played a part in him remaining in the job. Our record against the big six sides, like I've mentioned, that's played a part in it as well. I think the signing of Bruno Fernandes has definitely saved his job at Man United. But I think minimum Solskjaer will see out his contract. And I think he's just got under 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United. But like I've said time and time again, he's still in the process of rebuilding this Man United team, because there's only 5 players that are his so far who he's brought in. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. There's only a few players that have left who Jose Mourinho brought in. Jose Mourinho did recommend 11 players into the club. Louis van Gaal purchased 16 players. The vast majority of the players Van Gaal brought in are no longer here though, but there's still a few here from the Van Gaal era. There's still matter here from the David Moyes era and all of that. But in the last 7 years, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players. And people will say, reflecting on the money we've spent, we should be where Liverpool are right now. But of course, we are not, unfortunately. But it just proves always spending big on players does not always guarantee you success. It really doesn't. We have recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era, including, who we've brought in under Solskjaer so far. And that. And we've also got players on big contracts at the football club, But yeah, give Solskjaer more time at Manchester United. He's getting things right now. He's got some managerial experience behind him now as well. Reflects on the amount of time he's been with us. Like I said, he's been with us 18 months, as Solskjaer. So nothing much really more to say. So that's how Manchester United could line up next season. Like I said, your Villa preview's coming up on the 7th. Is on the 9th is the game. So join me for that. We know we've missed out on Jude Bellingham because he's going to Dortmund, or already has gone to Dortmund. I think Solskjaer still said he wants to recommend a striker into the football club. But, we shall see. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.